अभी इल्ले मैं अभी तो देंडे बेरी अभी अलग इल्ले मैं अभी उन्ना अभी तो कड़ान दून्ना अभी देंडे बुलवा मैं दे मैं दून्ना है अभी तो अभी इल्ले ने दे देंडे बेरी मैं मानो.
Well, that was the manner in which people affected by the construction of the second stage of the Central Expressway expressed their anguish towards the powers that be. We have a comprehensive report coming up on our primetime news later on. A very good evening. I'm Joel Outscoon. We'll start off with a look at the headlines. The residents protesting against the Central Expressway in Henamulla dispersed as per a court order. 65 officers of Katugasta to police transferred after the first information report book goes missing. Will the oil prices increase further? A 40-kilometer road built as a temporary solution to the Daduri-Oya bridge. Starting off the news with our top story. Protesters who blocked the construction work on the second phase of the Central Expressway in the Henamulla area were dispersed by the police today after obtaining a court order.
The protest began on the 27th of this month, charging that the residents who gave up their lands have not been provided with proper compensation and opposing the construction of the expressway at ground level instead of building it on pillars as earlier promised. Officials of the Kurunegala police who arrived at the location along with a court order informed the protesters to reopen the expressway. The protesters moved away from the location following the order while showing the protest to the officials.
अभी इल्ले मैं अभी तो देंडे बेरी अभी अलग इल्ले मैं अभी उन्ना अभी तो कड़ान दून्ना अभी देंडे बुलवा मैं दे मैं दून्ना है अभी तो अभी इल्ले ने दे देंडे अभी मानो अभी दारू मनवा तो पोने अभी दारू को तो दिया तेने अभी नहीं काल के मेरी का जाना ने वाला दिया
පත්තිනි දෙයියෝ බලයි පත්තිනි දෙයියෝ ඉන්නවා අපට ඔය සල්ලි හොරා කාලා මේ ගාපු ගේමේ මරණකම් මම ඉන්නවා මෙතන හරිද මට සේවකයොත් එක්ක කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ සේවකයොත් එක්ක කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ මෙතන තියෙන ලොකු එකම මකවනවා හරිද එච්චර දෙයක් කරන්න ඔය මේ මොනවද මේ ඉතින් ඉන්නේ मैं इधर डिगा पीला मैंने लाया ना मैं तो मैं बदिया बाल बाल ना गिरने ना आंग पियानो या को वहाँ बात बो यार सुअर ने
ओ पोटा बाण गिला इंद्र पेन्नोत එහෙම
ओ අර බලන්න යාලා බලන්න ලින්ද ගිහිල්ලා ලින්දේ වතුර ටික බොන්න පුළුවන් දෙකනේ අර නෝනි ගාවට යනවා.
Officials, the company in charge of the construction of the expressway, subsequently reopened the road to the construction site after 4 days.
During the Mahinda Rajapaksa regime, we thought he was good and we brought him into power. Then they tried to suppress us using the police and the army. Now people are brought in buses to suppress us. They threatened us and bring court orders and scare us and put us to a side. Is this good governance? They will not be able to continue this. We will send them home. that is certain. On a related note, a seminar was held in Colombo yesterday to discuss the construction of the Central Expressway.
There is an opinion that the government has the power and the freedom to do anything they want. There is nothing like that. The ownership of the land goes to the people living on it. We appoint governments to manage the country. They cannot force people out of their lands using acts of thuggery. One of the biggest issues plaguing the construction of expressways in the country is the large cost associated with it. The World Bank and the Oxford University clearly states that we are incurring such large costs because of corruption. This is the biggest impediment to alleviating poverty. This is a massive issue that impacts inflation as well as the cost of living. Who needs expressways when we have issues like this?
මේ ප්‍රශ්නය විසඳගන්නේ නැතුව මේ අධිවේගී මාර්ග අපි කාටද අවශ්‍ය? හේනමුල්ල ඉඳලා
The mountains of Indungoda, Kadurukanda, Tampana, Konpala and Rokke are located around 3 kilometers away from Henamulla. These are rich water locations. The water from these mountains flow into the Venru River. When this tank overflows, all this water will get stuck at the Central Expressway because of the dam-like structure they are creating. This procedure that is being adopted needs to be taken up for discussion, or else we will have to hold religious observances in remembrance of the deceased or get ready to provide aid when disaster strikes.
මැරුණහම මිනිස්සු වලදාන වැඩේට එකතු වෙන්න, පින්කම් කරන්න, වෙන උත්සව පවත්වන්න.
The quality and the standard of the medical profession is being discussed widely at present. We receive reports of a doctor who could not even maintain the prevailing standards of the medical profession, let alone the proposed standards.
3-year-old Dinudu Prabhaswara, a resident of Silawa in Mahava, was admitted to the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital on the 23rd of this month to receive the vaccination that a child should receive at the age of 3. The doctors and the public health midwives have informed the parents of Prabhaswara to obtain the medication from a government hospital at all times, since the boy reportedly had symptoms of allergic reactions when he received vaccinations on prior occasions. The doctors in the ward said to wait till the doctor in charge of the ward arrived, since the baby had allergic reactions. A doctor named Dayananda arrived. He inspected the child and said, since there have been allergic reactions, I cannot take responsibility for this. He said to obtain the vaccination from a private hospital. I asked him whether it needs to be brought in from a different ward. He said no, and he asked that it be obtained outside the hospital. He discharged the baby. When the doctor who is junior to him in the ward arrived, I asked him whether I should get the vaccine from outside, since I was asked to get it from a private hospital. He said that I should go to in Navina and meet the doctor there. Dindu Prabhaswara's mother then travelled to the private hospital that was suggested by the doctor. The director of the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital said that he has received a complaint regarding the matter. This was the manner in which a doctor fled when the media exposed his actions during a strike action that was launched by the doctors in June.
This is a very saddening situation. The Sri Lanka Medical Council should conduct proper investigations into the actions of these persons, and legal action should be taken. Doctors misuse their profession because such actions are not being taken. They are using their civil power to inconvenience the poor people. This is unethical. You have to consider your ethical responsibility when taking any course of action. If you commit acts of malice with the only aim of making money, it cannot be approved by any just society. Doctors these days are leading a struggle to maintain their professional standards. In such a case, they should reconsider their actions and the manner in which they behave. And on to a story that made it to the headlines this evening. Now, the Lanka IOC has decided to increase the prices of petrol and diesel with effect from next month. Senior Vice President of Lanka IOC, Siddharth Agrawal, noted that the percentage by which the prices will be increased will be decided in the future.
Lanka IOC PLC notes that considering the prices of fuel in the world market, they are suffering a 17 rupee loss from a litre of petrol and a 14 rupee loss from a litre of diesel.
Prices have not been changed in the last 3 years. Moreover, it has been reduced and duties have been increased. So there is petrol and diesel both we are selling at loss. So there is no option left with us but to increase the prices.
Secretary to the Minister of Petroleum Resources Development Rupali Marusinghe noted that Lanka IOC is yet to make a formal request to increase the prices of fuel. Non-payment of dues by the CEB and private power plants has led to a financial crisis in the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation.
If you consider the payment that are due, it adds up to around 36.8 billion rupees. The CEB is making preparations to make the payment in the coming weeks. The current policy is to manage the expenditure without passing it on to the consumers. There were talks of increasing prices, but a decision has not been taken. There's a bigger issue than this debt. We owe two state banks nearly 2,500 billion. The main cause for this is the CPC provides fuel to the CEB at a cost which is lower than the import cost. In 2017, they brought fuel for 100 rupees and sold it for 80. The Treasury should reimburse the CPC for the losses. However, it wasn't paid. We are paying massive interest for these loans. As a result, whenever there is a fuel price adjustment, they add this onto the fuel price. When you do this, the IOC also has an excuse to do the same, and this money leaves the country.
Over the past few years, the price of crude oil in the world market has been fluctuating. The price of a barrel of crude oil, which stood at $50.23 in January 2015, dropped to $29.49 by January 2016. However, by December 2016, the price rose to $54.53, and by January 2017, the price steadied at $51.49.
When you take a look at the prices of fuel from January 2015 to November 2016, the IOC made gains as well as 1 rupee per litre and as large as 38 rupees per litre. We have given them a total of 8.44 billion rupees. When Ravi Karunanayake was the minister, he showed them that this is a great loss. However, nothing happened. Maybe it is because of kickbacks that were on offer. We should release the price formula. There's a 54 rupee tax on petrol at present, as well as a 27 rupee tax on diesel. They can manage these prices using taxes. The Junior National Law Conference 2017 commenced yesterday in Galle. Over 300 delegates will participate in the event, which will be held over the weekend. The conference commenced under the patronage of the Chief Justice, Prasad Depp, the Minister of Justice, Thalathathu Korala, and many other dignitaries attended the event. The EU Ambassador to Sri Lanka and Maldives, Tunglai Mang, the President of the BASL, the Attorney General, the Registrar of the Supreme Court, M. Jayasekara, as well as the Director General of the Bribery Commission, President's Counsel, Sarath Jayamana, graced the event.
Attorneys at law, I think not only attorneys, even judiciary, we are also very conscious of the fact that there is a long delay in concluding cases. That is not peculiar to Sri Lanka. In this part of, especially in South Asia, it is a common thing. But that is not an excuse for us, but we have to take steps to reduce loss delays. So loss delays are attributed to judges and lawyers, but there's another thing because lack of infrastructure facilities. We need more courthouses, more judges, and judges also should have more facilities. So that is also an aspect which was neglected, but fortunately this government had taken into account that fact and taking remedial measures to remedy that situation.
Taking our high courts, alone at the end of 2015, there were approximately 16,960 cases pending. At the end of October 2016, the number of pending cases was 17,038. The number of cases pending in the civil appellate high courts at the end of 2015 was 6,347, and the number of cases pending in the commercial high courts in March 2017 was 5,580. The total number of cases pending in the High Court in March 2017 was 16,574. As you can see, this is a very unhealthy state of affairs, and it is in your hands to significantly ameliorate this situation by not only avoiding requesting for dates, but diligently studying your briefs and addressing court to the point without wasting the time of court.
I believe it is time to change the tone of our legal system. The Bar Association has come forward to help the juniors as well as the seniors to enhance their knowledge and to educate the community and show that our legal fraternity can do a lot of things for the betterment of the society.
I'm sure after listening to the lectures which are to be delivered by their lordships, most of the budding lawyers will realize the need to protect the integrity of our noble profession from young age and the repercussions that they will necessarily have to face for acting contrary to professional standards and ethics.
The keynote address at the opening ceremony was delivered by the Group Director of the Capital Maharaj Organization Limited, Shivan Daniel.
My dear friends, today all of us are at the foot of a mountain. Think about it. You're on the cusp of something great. And if you think the legal profession, and I assume this, is full of bureaucracy and systemic hierarchy, well, it's the same in the corporate sector. Nothing comes easy. You have to have the strength to break forward. And so you see this mountain. You have a choice. You can pitch a tent and live the rest of your life staring at this great mountain. Or you can start climbing upwards, give up halfway, and come back down. Or you can find something in you, find a reason to fight all the way to the top and see what's on the other side. The Indo-Aryan root of the word purpose is fire. Fire. And what's the thing about fire? Once you have fire inside of you, if you're near fire, what's the one thing that you can't do? You cannot sit still. You have to keep moving. Being stationary, being in one place is the beginning of the end. You must find your fire. And that fire is your purpose in life. And if you find that purpose in life, climbing that mountain will be a joy.
Now, the National Chamber of Exporters of Sri Lanka, also known as the NCE, which is the only private sector chamber exclusively serving Sri Lankan exporters, held its 25th anniversary annual export award ceremony in Colombo last evening. Participating at the event was Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, Minister of Local Government and Provincial Councils Faisal Mustafa, and Deputy Minister of National Policy and Economic Affairs Harsha De Silva.
We have to create the markets for you. So we are back again. We have obtained the GSP Plus. We are now negotiating with India, to be spread over, and China. Those are agreements that will be spread over a period of time. And with India, emphasis is on the non-tariff barriers. And we are not in any way including professional services in such exercise. Today our revenue is more than debt servicing. But remember, we still have to borrow. But we want to encourage more investments and increase exports so that we can repay the debt and our balance of payments will get into a surplus. That won't happen in the next till 2020, but we are laying the foundation for it to happen after 3 years. We'll see at the moment $4 billion worth of investments coming into Sri Lanka. Hambantota Harbour will become will come under the new joint venture management by November, and the Mattala Airport will come under joint management again by end of the year. We will most probably identify about 15 to 20,000 acres to come under manufacture as industrial estate.
As mentioned on the headline, 65 police officers attached to the Katugasthoda police have been transferred with immediate effect. The officers have been transferred in connection to the alleged disappearance of the first information report book in relation to the arrest of a drug smuggler. The incident in question occurred when a suspect was arrested with 3 grams of heroin. The SSP in charge of the area noted that the transfers were issued after 3 separate investigations into this incident was taken place. He added that this also comes in a wake of leeway being granted to the Katugasthoda police in order to make their raids, traffic control and nightly patrols more effective. The SSP noted that several more transfers will be made in connection to this incident in the near future. The vehicle parade carrying the epistle of Lord Vishnu from Devinura reached Kalaniya today.
Members of the joint opposition commenced this tour on the 28th of this month. The journey of the epistle is held under the patronage of a group of monks, including Venerable Murutettuwe Anandathera. The epistle demands that the government be chased away and the country be made prosperous once again.
Following a meeting held in Kalaniya today, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca expressed these views on the march being conducted by the joint opposition carrying an epistle.
I don't think that anyone can fool the gods that took over the country. I don't think that thieves, corrupt persons, extortionists or racketeers will have any chance of fooling the gods. They must be having a mentality where they believe they can bribe the gods themselves. I don't think there will be any result because of this. I will never welcome corrupt individuals. We won't welcome them. Instead, we will condemn them and their actions. We have had no need to obstruct or harm people who are going to a temple. They can go to the temple and see if what they expect comes true. We won't intervene, but the people will condemn them as well. A group including former Minister Basil Rajapaksa arrived at the Nalluru Kovil in Jaffna and obtained blessings to commence the political activities of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna in the northern province.
As the youngest but the most powerful political party, we hope to come to the north and work in collaboration with the people in the north. It is Mahinda Rajapaksa who took the initiative in establishing the provincial council in the north and much of the development in the province. Now it has been 2.5 years since the provincial and urban councils were established. Therefore, it is important that the power is handed back to the people. So we hope it occurs soon.
It was reported yesterday that 13 northern provincial councillors of the UPFA who support the joint opposition faction decided to extend their support to the Podujana Peramuna. However, there was confusion over the membership of the 13 provincial councillors. Only 5 out of the 13 arrived to obtain the membership of the Podujana Peramuna. An argument broke out between the councillors and the members of the Podujana Peramuna since the remaining 8 councillors did not arrive as promised earlier. The 13 members were to obtain membership of the Podujana Peramuna before former Minister Basil Rajapaksa. It was informed that they would gather at the residence of former Provincial Councillor S.M. Ranjit. Newsfirst cameras captured how one councillor of the 13 obtained membership of the Podujana Peramuna.
Mahinda Rajapaksa
The pro-Rajapaksa faction that is obsessed with Mahinda Rajapaksa, as we all know, is a group that embraces the mystical forces. The people of this country didn't defeat Mahinda Rajapaksa because he appealed to the gods. He was defeated because he was undemocratic. While one group goes around the country carrying around an epistle, Basil Rajapaksa goes to Jaffna to get his blessings. He is someone who did a considerable amount of work to defeat Mahinda Rajapaksa. All the minorities in the country know how the Rajapaksa incited racism and ethnic divisions. The people remember the issues caused by them. It's time now for our investigative journalism segment, Action TV.
The longest and largest bridge located on the A10 route, which joins Puttalam and Katugastoda, was built during the time of the English occupation. However, the exact dates on which this bridge was built is unclear. Considering the importance of this bridge, which allows pass over from Dadru, authorities should have taken steps to replace this bridge a decade or two ago. However, instead, the RDA has come up with multiple temporary solutions, each with an expiry date of 2 years. The RDA has once again begun the cycle of temporary solutions for this bridge by closing off the road for vehicular traffic till the 25th of November. Due to this, a commuter needs to travel an additional 40 kilometers if they wish to reach the Nikavaratia area along the A10 route. A large bridge is required. The present bridge does not have enough room for 2 buses to pass each other. Temporary solutions are not sufficient. We saw when the Katugastoda bridge was being constructed, they left the old bridge intact and built a new one. No one was affected. We saw a similar situation in Alao as well. Why are they giving a step-motherly treatment to the Dadru bridge? If the RDA had any vision for the road network of the country, they would have immediately begun work on a new bridge as soon as the last temporary solution was put in place. At a time when constructing expressways has become a matter of utmost national importance, the RDA is taking steps to repair these bridges using old sheets of metal which have been painted anew. Don't the needs of the people of the Vanni Demal Hatpatua overweigh the needs of some to travel at express speeds to Kandy? Minister of Highways, over to you. The foundation stone for the Sisikiruna village being constructed in the Tissamaharam area under the auspices of the 7-7 program was laid today by Minister Sajid Premadasa.
Janadipati Maithripala Sirisena Matituma Hatiyata.
When Maithripala Sirisena was sworn in as the new president, the former leader of the SLFP, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, offered the leadership of the SLFP to President Sirisena. He lost the presidency in 2015, but today they are plotting to take it back through a conspiracy. They are holding trade union actions, committing acts of sabotage, and trying to use the doctors to cripple the health sector and bring the country to its knees. They are using the doctors to send the people to their graves. They are doing all this to satisfy their need for power. He wants to become the president, or at least the prime minister once again. I have this to say to the former president. You were defeated by the people. The people forced you to retire. Why don't you enjoy the benefits of retirement?
Well, on that note, we wrap this edition of Weekend News. Thank you very much for stopping by. More news follows on our website, www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Joel Outskoon. Take care. Good night.